the Labour Party. Are they now the low immigration party? Now, Labour's stance seems to have tightened following this week's record net migration figures. The Shadow Health Secretary Wes Streeting's piece in today's Mail on Sunday suggests a crackdown of foreign workers. He wrote, "The real reason immigration is out of control, the country's obsession with cheap labour from overseas." Hang on a minute, that sounds like something from the Tory party's playbook. Now, this follows Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper telling The Telegraph about the party's plans to put time limits on how long companies can import foreign workers, although that plan sounds a little bit more complex. I don't know how they're going to work that out. But let's welcome again to my panel author and broadcaster Amy Nickell, also former Brexit Party MEP Ben Habib. Amy, I'm going to start with you. Labour, do you think they're the new party of lower immigration? They're saying they're making all the right sound bites.
I think Labour have fallen foul of thinking that this will win them public support and votes, and they're so keen to get this election over the line that they'll say what they think people want to hear, when really I think they know we need to reframe this whole conversation. We're talking about legal migration. We're talking about Labour coming in and actually benefiting our economy. The figures prove that those from non-EU countries coming in working, those from EU countries boost the economy by billions. British workers cost billions, but obviously there's a lot more. People come here for opportunity.
Wouldn't it be more cost effective, though? Like you said, British workers cost a lot. Wouldn't it be more cost effective to use British workers?
No, we'd have to retrain them. We'd have to sort them out the jobs. That whole admin around it would cost loads, and that's a lot of these changes and tweaks that Brexit requires.
In the short term,
it doesn't make financial sense.
Well, in the short term,
for example, the agriculture industry depends on migrant labour.
What about Amy? What about the short term then? In the short term, yes, it might cost more to retrain British workers, but in the long term, wouldn't that be better? I'll go to Ben.
Yeah.
Ben.
Well, look, we've got a fundamentally broken labour market in the United Kingdom. Those on universal credit before lockdowns was 3 million. In 2018, there was less than 1 million people on universal credit. There are now 5.9 million people, and this figure is stuck there. And 2 million of that 5.9 are completely out of the workforce, not looking for work. It doesn't pay to work in the United Kingdom. That is a fundamentally important point that the government and every commentator needs to pick up on. It doesn't pay to work. That's why these people are not working.
And 40% of people on universal credit are in work, proving that.
40% of 6 million. Whereas it was 40% of 3 million before lockdowns and 40% of 1 million in 2018. That 40%, granted, has stayed steady, but the absolute number's gone through the roof. It's because the labour market is broken. The labour market's broken because it doesn't pay to work. It doesn't pay to work because taxes are too high on the working and middle classes. Forget about the rich. The working and middle classes are being overtaxed. And at the same time, benefits have gone up dramatically. So benefits becomes a real career option versus working. And unless you can get that system right, unless that ecosystem is put right, this country is going to go round in ever-decreasing circles down a plug hole. It is the biggest problem facing the country. At the moment, it's absolutely crucial.
I just saw water going down a plug hole.
I know, well, that's exactly what we're doing. And the government's response is, we're going to tax more, we're going to give you more benefits, we're going to spend more money on you to try and mollycoddle you, and in the meantime, because you're not working and we've got job vacancies, we'll import people from abroad, and that entrenches the problem.
But the Labour Party is saying what you're saying. They're saying that they're going to be the low-tax...
the Labour Party...
And they're also talking about Wes Streeting saying less people from abroad. That is going along with what you're saying.
The Labour Party championed and implemented the open border policy that has now gone absolutely rampant under this Conservative Party, which is not Conservative at all. It's another socialist party.
I'd like to pick you up on your belief that benefits is a career option.
Well, it's become a career option because the amount you can make on benefits compares to what you can make on the net median wage.
I would agree with that, but I would also say that a lot of industries are closing down. In certain areas, there aren't any job opportunities. So surely it's more about increasing job potential opportunities in levelling up rather than demonising those who are on benefits.
I'm not demonising them. What I'm saying...
You're saying they're choosing it.
I'm saying that it doesn't pay, literally doesn't pay to work. You're better off any rational organism, any rational human being, given a choice between making X amount of money by not having to work and X amount of money by working, is going to go for the former option.
I disagree with that. I don't think you have much faith in people. I think
No, that's a completely rational economic choice.
They want to have a profession, they want to have a vocation, and that means more to them for their mental health, for their self-esteem, rather than just thinking about it in purely financial terms. I think you saying, oh, well, you know, they've done the maths and they can sit and watch This Morning, probably wouldn't anymore though, would they? Watch This Morning, rather than going to work and then topping it up with universal credit. I don't believe that. I think people would much prefer
explain
a job
to me, Amy,
and top it up with universal
explain
credit.
to me
But I
why
would agree with you
universal
that
credit.
wages are too low. I would agree with you. And when
Wages are too low or taxes are too high?
No, well, wages are too low. I think taxes are where they need to be. But
how do you put more money into people's pockets?
Because I would tax wealth. Stop taxing workers.
You would tax those people who make money.
Stop taxing workers. Tax wealth, stagnating wealth, inherited wealth.
Listen, how much more do you want to tax?
Unearned income.
How much more do you want to tax?
Why are you laughing at that?
Because
why do you not want to?
What is the point of making more and more money if every time you make more, you're going to be taxed more and more?
Because we're not talking about money being made.
But you said, so if I buy a house... If I buy a house, and then they say, no, well, now, instead of taxing on this, we're going to increase that to about 50%, and when you sell the house, we're going to take even more and more off you, and in the end, the people who have to do this won't be bothered to do it, and they'll end up all on benefits.
I think you'll find that wealth is handed down generation. Social mobility is absolutely kaput.
There's nothing wrong with handing down wealth.
We need to give people opportunity.
There's nothing wrong with handing down wealth.
It's unearned.
Unearned. No, it's not. Your parents earned it. You can have it. They've got it for you. They earned it for you. That's
they
why
paid tax on it.
That's why I'm working to get things for my kids.